Hey guys, Tian Tan here. Today, I want to talk to you about intermittent fasting. It's like fasting, but like intermittently. Okay, alright, let's do it. Basically with intermittent fasting is you eat between a certain time window, in a certain time window every single day, and then outside of it, you don't eat. So the most common, the most go-to intermittent fasting 101 time frame is you can eat between 12 to 8 p.m. So during that time, you can have as many meals as you want, you can eat whatever the fuck you want, and that's cool. And then outside of that, you just don't eat, you fast. You can drink water, or tea or stuff like that, nothing with calories in it. And that's basically the practice. Every day, we actually already intermittently fast, because after you finish eating your dinner, and you go to bed, and you wake up for breakfast, during that whole time, you're not eating, are you? You're just sleeping, you're dreaming, you're off to other world, but you're not eating. So you are technically fasting. That's why breakfast is called breakfast. It's not breakfast, it's breakfast, or breakfast, because you're breaking the fast when you wake up from your bed. So intermittent fasting is just kind of that, but a little bit longer. So instead of waking up in the morning straight away eating breakfast, you just wait until 12, and in the beginning you're gonna be like, oh, I feel hungry, I want things in my mouth. But if you hold that urge in and you stick with it, you're gonna have a lot of awesome fucking benefits. First of all, it's fucking cool. Like, it makes you feel so good, okay? It makes you feel really fucking good. Now, when you first doing it and you feel hungry, you're not gonna feel very good. You're gonna be like, I want things in my mouth. You kind of start understanding what hunger really is, and your relationship around food starts to change if you resist the urge to eat. We are patterned into eating at certain times, so then our body's always expecting food, but when you start breaking out of that pattern, your body's gonna be like, oh no, this feels wrong, this feels wrong. But then after a few days and it readjusts, it's really fucking magical. Because, okay, so essentially what happens is when you have food in your stomach is using like energy and processing power and shooting all the blood into your stomach so that it's digesting. And if you're constantly eating throughout the whole day, then your body never really gets the rest that it needs. So when you just give it a little bit more time, you know, if you skip breakfast and just go straight to lunch, then that extra time is gonna give your body the space it needs to actually do its thing. One of the main things you start feeling when you start doing intermittent fasting is clarity. It's mental clarity. It's because when your energy isn't being expended on your stomach, where does it fucking go? It has to go somewhere, right? You know, it goes up. It transcends into your fucking head, and you're like, and you're just like, whoa, what is this new world? A whole new world. That new world is mental clarity, which is a fucking, is a great place to go. And you start feeling way more productive and onto it and just know what the fuck you're doing with life. So that's one big fucking benefit. And another is probably very good as well. So that was more mental. The second one is more physical, is it helps you lose weight. Because when your body isn't using food for its energy and it's feeling hungry and it's like, I want to eat something, oh, there's no food, okay, well then I'll just eat the fat in my system. Boom. It starts Pac-Manning all your food and around you, probably like here and like here if you have any. Well, you probably don't want that one gone. Alright, anyways. If you're a girl, that's what I'm saying, if you want big boobs. Okay, that's another topic. Alright, okay, we're getting off topic. It starts eating your fat storage. Especially when you start feeling hungry, you start getting the pangs of hunger. And if you resist it long enough, what you'll find is you stop feeling hungry. It's like after a certain point, especially when it's like really hungry, if you just kind of break through that moment, you don't feel hungry anymore for like a little bit longer, maybe for a couple hours, and then you might go again, and then if you just resist the urge to eat and you break through it again, you won't feel hungry again for a little while. And essentially what's happening is kind of like in those very low states when your body is like, I really need food, and you don't give it food, it starts eating the fat, and then when it eats the fat and it feels fucking good, then you're not hungry anymore. And I find often when I do intermittent fasting and I get hungry, you know, to that point where it's like really hungry, and I don't eat, and then like I start burping. Like I start having all these burps, and it's kind of like, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, and that's kind of like, I don't know if it is, but it feels like to me, my body is like eating the fat in my system, and it's kind of like, oh, thanks for the meal, and then it's like, you know, you have like a burp of celebration that you had the meal, and then after that I always feel like, oh shit, I'm so glad I didn't eat. I feel so good right now. It's like I just had the most efficient, nutritionally dense meal that I could possibly have, and it doesn't use any resources for my stomach to digest, because and it's a very fucking clean energy feeling. Thirdly, it keeps you healthier if you're sick. The best thing for you to feel better is not to eat more food. It's actually to not eat at all. It's to fast and let your body do its own healing mechanism, because it has its own healing mechanism. And it only kicks in when you start fasting, when it doesn't need to use its resources to digest food. It can use its resources to heal yourself. Your body can break down your fat for energy, but it's really smart. It can also break down kind of cancerous tissues in your stomach, or faulty tissues, not in your stomach, but just in your body, for energy. So if you have any like cancerous, like mini tumors or cancerous tissues in your, or cancerous cells in your system, if you fast long enough, your body naturally starts breaking down those cells first for energy before it goes anywhere else, essentially healing you and detoxifying you. That's just how your body naturally kind of heals itself. Like, your body is very smart and knows how to do all of these things if you just give it the time and space it needs and the energy for it to do so. And the best way to access those states is through fasting. Okay, so we've covered mental clarity and productivity, fat loss, health, and the final one I want to go over on why you want to do this is, that's 4. It helps you curb your eating addictions and emotional eating patterns. So for me, I tend to do this thing more like when I kind of hit like my early 20s and stuff, maybe that's when shit got really stressful. I noticed I started eating emotionally a lot more, using food as a way to manage my my stress or my anxiety, you know, and you know, binge eating a little bit as well from time to time, and that certainly did a number on my stomach that wasn't good. And it wasn't until I started doing intermittent fasting and just even longer periods of fasting called water fasting, where it really kind of reset my whole system. And not let me depend on food so much. Because like I said before, when you're like always thinking about food every single day, your body's accustomed to thinking about it every single day. And it's almost like you depend on thinking about food as a pattern for you to survive. But when you can kind of tell your body, hey, look, I don't actually need food as much as I thought I did, then you start becoming less reliant on food. And then that kind of creates this feeling of like enoughness in your system, like feeling like, oh, I don't actually need that much to have enough to feel enough. Because another fear I had was like, oh, I need to make sure I eat enough so I don't starve, or I don't have enough energy to do this and that. But what ended up happening was like the more I ate, the more sluggish I felt, because there was so much fucking food in my stomach that was weighing me down, you know? And when I ate less and realized not only do I not need that much, I actually feel better, it just created this whole kind of a paradigm in my fucking system that like, hey, I don't actually need that much food. I don't need to rely on that food so much to fill the fucking void inside of my chest. And when you kind of get into that state, you just feel so much more whole as a human being, as like just fucking as a person. And I never ate as emotionally as I did like, it never got that bad ever again, you know? Like, sure, sometimes I still snack on things here and there, but I just find myself so much more able to not throw myself into the depths of like emotional binging, you know, whether it's on food or other things. Well, I mean, we're just talking about food right now, but there are many things that human beings do to fill their void, not just food. Today, we're just talking about food, but I'll make things on other things as well to address filling that void inside all of us with external things, because believe me, I've tried. It doesn't work. I mean, it feels like it works and it feels really fucking good sometimes, but then at the end of the day you're like, huh, I don't know, I'm still kind of flaccid, you know? It's not fully there. And it's when you start kind of cultivating these internal practices do you really feel like, oh shit, I'm good. You know, I am enough. I don't need all this fucking shit to like fucking, like, you know, like this bukkake of stimulation in my system to feel good about myself. Because you don't. You just need this and here, right now, to feel fucking good. And that's what I want to teach you guys, alright? Mwah. Oh, and often I find, I don't know if anyone gets this, when I feel sick, I don't really want to eat. I don't really have an appetite, but I remember in the, in the past, my mom would always force me to eat, like, no, you gotta eat food, you gotta have your energy up, but I'm like, I don't really feel like eating. And then I just found every time I did eat, it just kind of like, I didn't really feel like I digested very well, because it's like I could feel my body was trying to do other things, and like digestion was not a priority. So next time when you are feeling sick and you don't feel like eating as much, just don't force yourself to eat when you're sick. If anything, the less you eat while you're sick, the faster you'll actually feel and get out of that sickness. So I hope I kind of enlightened you a little bit on the benefits on intermittent fasting, and if you want to do it, like I said, you can start with eating between 12 to 8 p.m. So when you wake up in the morning, don't have breakfast, and just wait until 12 p.m. before you start eating, and then you can eat during those 8 hours, and then stop eating at 8 p.m. and then just repeat that. You can try that for a week, see how you feel. And a lot of people, they tend to eat a lot during those 8 hours so they don't feel hungry the next day. You can try that if it makes it easier for you, but I say just eat what's reasonable. Don't binge on food. Eat relatively healthy if you want health benefits and lose fat and everything else along with feeling good about yourself. But yeah, essentially that's the basic. And if you want to make it harder, you can start at 2 p.m. instead of 12 and you go to 8, so then there's a 6-hour eating window, or you can adjust the window. So some people really like breakfast, so maybe you can start at 8 but then you finish at 4, or you finish at 6, depending. You just play around, but the most standard is 12 to 8. And after you do intermittent fasting for a little while, because I found the more you're able to put yourself into a fasting state, the more your body is actually able to heal and detox and just kind of fucking reset itself and like Marie Kondo all the fucking bad shit in your body and just get rid of it. You can try doing longer fasts. So I've done like kind of 24-hour, 48-hour, and my longest was 62-hour water fasting, where I don't eat anything during that time except water. I just drink water. I eat water. And that's been fucking amazing, especially the 62-hour fast. They said that, I think there's a passage in the Bible or something. It's like it's like saying like if you give your body 3 days of fasting, it will completely regenerate itself and like turn anew kind of thing. So I tried doing that with like the 72 hours one, but I only got to 62 because it just got too much. But you try your best. You just you do what you can. But even after the 62-hour fast, like my body ever since then, that was only maybe like 2 weeks ago, it's never felt the same ever since, in a good way. Like I felt like during those 62 hours of fasting and my body doing its thing, like it permanently changed my body in a way where after that I just like I'd feel full very quickly. Like I have a little bit of food and I'd be like, oh no, I'm good, I'm enough, I don't need any more. Whereas before I'm like, oh, I want to eat as much as I can because it's like eating is fun. And I eat healthy as well. So in my mind I'm like, well, as long as it's healthy, it's not gonna be bad for me. And I just eat for the pleasure of eating. But ever since then, I've only eaten until my stomach was like, hey, I'm good. And then I'm like, and I genuinely don't feel like I want to eat anymore. And I just want to get on with my day and do other things. And then the focus shifts away from eating food to just living my life and doing my thing. Because I feel like that's why you're here. It's like when you fill up a car, you don't go to the petrol station, you make a fucking date out of it, and you whack off the petrol nozzle. No, you go there, you fill up your car, you get the fuck out of there, right? It's not like a fucking extravaganza, right? And I feel like food should be the same thing. You fill up your own internal petrol with food, and then you get on with your day instead of fucking like wanking the food, for like the whole day, and you just stay in the petrol station. That's not fun. That's not doing your fucking mission here on Earth. So yes, try a longer fast as well. Again, start easy. Maybe try with 24-hour fast. If that feels good, do a little bit longer and a little bit longer, a little bit longer. But essentially, I found the longer I do these fasts, the better I feel, and the more fucking transformed I feel. Kind of like a, like an insect or a snake or something shedding its old skin and kind of transforming anew. Like every time I do that, it feels like something along those lines, and it feels fucking amazing. I just feel lighter every single time. Like right now, I'm like, yes. Fuck yes, I am Jesus. How you come out of the fast is really is as important as how you do the fast. Because if you come out of a long fast and you just eat this huge buffet and you eat everything, that's actually really bad for you, because your stomach is so used to, I mean, even for 24 hours of not eating, that it's kind of in like this shriveled up state. So then if you suddenly shove all this fucking food in there, it's gonna be like, ah, and then you're gonna have a bad time. So coming out of a long fast, even intermittent fasting, coming out of intermittent fasting, make sure you kind of come out of it a little bit softer. And the best way I find to come out of it is to eat some sort of probiotic food or drink probiotic drinks, you know, kombucha, kefir, coconut yogurt, or anything like that. Just have that to kind of start off, and then just eat lightly to begin with, before you kind of eat into something heavier. You know, soups are good, or I started doing this thing where I boil pear in water, and it's like a pear soup, and it's fucking delicious. And just like anything soft and warm like that is really good for your stomach. Like warm, soft things are really good for your stomach. Like you don't want anything cold and hard to digest in your stomach, because that's bad for digestion, and that takes more work for your stomach to digest. And you want that energy for you to do your thing rather than just constantly digesting. In general, when you eat, you wanna chew your food as much as you can. Like you don't want to just like gulp everything in, because that's gonna be really hard for your digestion. It's like you want to do as much processing as you can with your mouth before it goes down into your stomach, because the more work your stomach needs, the more energy it takes, and the more energy it takes away from you to do the shit you actually want to be doing. You know, I'm sure you don't want to just be digesting food every single day. There's bigger, more awesome things out there for you. I hope you guys found that helpful. Again, if you have any questions, pop it below. I'll answer all of them. I'll be making more videos alongside kind of health, wholesome well-being, just how to be a fucking better human being in all aspects of the fucking circle of it is to be a human. So if you're into that shit, stick around. I'm definitely all about that. And if there's any topics you want me to cover, put it in the comments below, and I'll see if I can do it if I know enough about it. Well then, my fellow soldiers, Godspeed, and I hope you have a good fast. You gotta go fast, do your dinner, but not like Sonic, the movie, because that looks fucking demonic. But you wanna go fast in a more like wholesome manner. Alright, that's enough.